There, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me just check my settings. Yeah, this seems to be all right. I hope you're okay. Nice. Thanks, Happy Pound, for confirming. Sound is fine. New user, Sack Pound. All right. I will invite, I will let anyone step inside. All right. Let's see here. We will flip the board. This is from last time. If you remember, we were checking Grandmaster Johnny Hector's games, and this was one interesting moment. I think most of you remember what he played here. Swedish legendary Grandmaster. What did he play here with the black pieces? I will give you only 25 seconds for this mission. All right. New user, Racer. All right, Racer, welcome. We have some new. Oh, yes, you go King E6. That's what Hollow Blade says. All right, winners. Hollow Blade, L, Chess Art, Sui Random, Brian, Happy Pawn, Tori Chess, Dada, Apple, new user. Okay, I'm letting everyone in today. I hope that's the right thing to do. We will soon find out. Tiger Sahi, congratulations. You also found this. So, yeah, please go ahead, Tiger. What should Black play at this point? How to deal with this pressure? Aha, King E6. We were talking about king moves, one of the favorite moves of my compatriot, Johnny Hector. He really likes this. This is a very clever move, also, technically speaking. We are simply making sure that our king is not being checked. We talked about this in some other session, by the way. If you remember the preemptive king move, the king move, prophylactic king move, something like that. It's interesting now. Here it's in a slightly different fashion. Main point here is that if white tries to get back their knight, well, in that case, we actually mate white instead. Aha, please go ahead, Tiger. You can do it. The attack is very strong here. Aha, royal prophylaxis, says Happy Pawn. Exactly, some kind of royal prophylaxis. We are moving our king in advance. Yeah, we saw this countless times. So you should remember this picture. Aha, nice. All right. Yeah, thanks, Tiger. That's exactly what happened in this game. I think actually white resigned earlier. So this was something about chaotic openings. King E6, very clever choice. We had a thorough look at this last time, and we could see that not always it's a disadvantage to have your king in the middle. The evaluation of the position also depends a lot on where the other pieces are played. So, yeah, what are we doing today, says Adi Chess, Johnny Hector number 3. That's right. This is the third and last installment about this entertaining player, Johnny Hector from Sweden. I'm trying to do every now and then some class about famous players. I think last time we did Michael Adams. And yeah, I'll think about who will come up in the future. Maybe we should pick some player from the newer generations, maybe somebody born in the 2000 and so on. Yeah, you can send me, can we do Karpov next? We could, of course, but Karpov has been around in other lectures also. So maybe we should pick somebody who has not been here in these lectures so often. I was thinking now, but okay, we will come to that. Yeah, you can send also to Greg Shahadi, you can send any suggestions now about this topic. Young Jial, we have a new user, all right. Shirov, yeah, that's another interesting player to cover. Yeah, interesting. We will see. All right, let's get going. So very welcome to the third installment about Johnny Hector's games. I would like to show you something which happened back in the year 2000, I think it was, when Sweden could still have chances against China in the Chess Olympiad. That's not the case anymore, I'm afraid. China is way too strong nowadays. Most European countries won't stand a chance against China. But back in those days, back in the year 2000, China was still not that strong, and that's where this match or this game comes from. So, yeah, oh, I'm missing the chat here. I mean, you have Nils Grandelius. Yeah, that's the best player in Sweden right now. Very strong player, Nils Grandelius. Maybe we could have a lecture about him, but then you will say, hey, you're only showing games by Swedish players. So we'll see. I'll think of something. So, yeah, we will. Yeah, that's a new user, Razor Bill, and Dapple is also new. So welcome any new users here. We will now get going. This is from this match that I was commenting on Johnny Hector is playing with the black pieces. He had played a Rai Lopez where he did something like this. The king walked up this way. The whole game is extremely interesting. If you don't have anything to do in the weekend, have a look at this game. I could fill a whole lecture only with this game. So I'm just showing you one little part of the game, the final part of the game. So what happened here in this entertaining position? Wow, my chat is not scrolling down. Yeah. Influx of new users. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know either who the new users are, but okay, very welcome. White played at this point the move Queen C8. By the way, Johnny Hector's last move here, I think it was H5. He had evil plans. He did not want White to access this square with the Queen. White played here the move Queen C8. You would say this is an end game, but at the same time, I think it has some kind of middle game feeling to it also. So, okay. It's up to you guys. Let me know what you think Black should play at this point. I'll quiz you for the next, how many moves? Yeah, I think for only 2 moves. So you get only 45 seconds. Try to find the best way to continue. 206, congratulations, Skilled Saber. Razor Bill, you got it also. Sarthak, L008. Aha, that's completely right. I understand your move, Ryan, and RKDK. In that case, I will take on A6, okay? I'll take on A6. So most of you got it right. You're playing in the spirit of Johnny Hector. That's not bad at all. Aha. So we're talking about the fact that we can use our king also as an attacking piece, right? We talk about that sometimes in the endgame, but we are usually talking about the king being used for attacking pawns and so on. But here we're actually using our king to create a mating net, right? Young Jal, Zach Pawn, Charles, Sui, Random, Daniel Best, Chess Crusher, Alg. A lot of people got it right. Awesome, Owen. All right, Owen, you can tell us. What should Black play here? I mouse flip King D2. Yeah, don't play King D2. All right. King E2, what a beautiful move. We build up a very respectable threat here. Queen F1 mate. And if White takes the pawn on A6, they can take all the pawns they want, as long as they don't take our D pawn, of course. So that pawn serves as a shield for Black. Beautiful. The game it's really beautiful. This is just one small part of it, but I wanted to show you that part. So now Queen F1 is a big threat here. Peng Xiaomin played at this point H4, and here Black had different options, but what Johnny Hector played was very interesting. He played here the move Rook E4 because he knew that already the endgame was very favorable for him. Yeah, or how else should we understand this move? I'm trying to remember what was the point. I think he wants to trade off the rook to be able to go and take this pawn. I think it's as simple as that. Aha. By the way, if you said Rook E1, that would be a very typical move, right? Rook E1. But I think in that case, I can take on A6, and it's not so clear. No, I should not do that. Oh, then you can go to C2, it seems. Yeah, that's also interesting. He showed that in his book, that sometimes the king, I said not the kid, the king could also hide on A1. Interesting. You know this from Queen Endgames, of course. You can put your king behind enemy pawns. As a shield for the king, right? So King E2, Queen F5, that's the move that he did not like to allow. And after King E2, that would be Queen takes H5. That's why he didn't play like that. Aha, so you have to look a little at what your opponent has in mind. Like the rook right now, it's preventing the check on F5. And the pawn on H5 is preventing the check on G4, like a nice teamwork from Black's pieces, right? Black isn't threatening anything after Rook E1, says Sarthak. Interesting. I didn't think that, but you're probably right then. What Sarthak is saying is probably that White can do exactly the same thing. Also, they can use the brave king idea like that. So, interesting. Good point, Sarthak. So that's another reason to play like Johnny did here with King E2. Now, for sure, there is a big threat. The Rook was not as a good helper as the King, you could say, for the attack here. Anyway, let's get going. I have some other games I would like to show you today, so let's get going. H4, Rook E4. He's trying to trade off this Rook. It was also possible to continue like this, said the German theoretician Hecht. Hecht had analyzed this, and he said this was the best plan. I'm convinced that Hector also looked at that, but yeah, he did not play like that. Maybe also time travel and things like that. So after the move H4, White is making space for their king. Black played Rook E4, trying to trade off that Rook. Rook takes F6, Queen takes A4. What White is going to C here is a very bad rook endgame. Black is trying to trade off the queen, try to get it off the f1 a6 diagonal so that the d pawn can finally push. In the game they played queen takes, rook takes, and I think after rook f5 d2 white resigned because there is no hope in this endgame pawn and pawns versus rook. No, we are too fast here. I think rook takes d5. We can probably just queen. And yeah, there are other positions where you can make a draw, but this is probably not one of them because black's king is very close. The pawns are too good. Yeah, not these pawns, I guess. Aha, lost endgame because of the h5 pawn, says Hollowblade. All right, I'll take your word for it. So nice. Simple example, you would say. Not so simple, perhaps, but very nice. Yeah, queen c8, and after king e2, black had a very nice attack. So we can use the king also as an attacking piece. And those of you who would like to learn a little more about this game, yeah, just look it up in the ChessBase Megabase, for instance, or maybe on some online database. It's a very entertaining game. Back in those glorious days where China could still be beaten in the Chess Olympiad, nowadays that's much more difficult. It became a really, really powerful country. So yeah, it was pretty simple in my opinion. I agree, Sarthak. Yeah. So let's continue. My next game, it was played in Sweden, and I wanted to show you a few more games where he was playing with the black pieces. So as I told you last time, e4 is always answered by e5. I think we talked about that last time. He does not play anything else, I think, apart from e4, e5. But from this point, he can play in a variety of ways. In this game, he had to face the Scots, and the game went like this: e takes d4, knight takes d4, with white Swedish international master Loveryd. Black played here the move queen f6. So yeah, queen f6. What's the point of queen f6? Well, those of you who don't play the Scots, you have no real reason to know about that. But I would say that the point is that black would like to play this system with bishop c5 and queen f6, but if you play bishop c5 here, white can play this variation, right? The Potter variation with knight b3 and knight c3 and queen e2 and bishop e3 and all that. So some players with black, they play here the move queen f6 with a point that it's not so easy for white to get into the Potter variation now. So if you play knight b3, I think that's what they played in this game. Now black can play this move. Interesting. Yeah, it's all theoretical. It's not something he made up in this game. It has been played before. But interesting plan. Somehow we are interfering with white's development. White had to find a way to protect his pawn. But if you play knight c3 here, black will play bishop b4 with fast development. So in the game, white played instead the move queen e2. I was checking some recent game where they played f3. And after knight f6, white played, let's see if I can find the game here. They played the move bishop f4. This was a game played between Sankalp with white and Erigaisi with the black pieces. It was very interesting. So I wanted to show you very, very briefly what happened in this game. Black played at this point the move bishop b4. Anyone, can you tell me why did I play bishop b4 here? Why? What's the point? Let's write that in the chat. What's the point of bishop b4? Aha, to prevent the knight from going to c3, says L. Yeah, I mean, you're not really preventing it, but I see perfectly what you mean. If white plays knight c3, we can sometimes take and we can double their pawns, and it won't be that appealing for them to castle long anymore, right? If they do that. Exactly. And if they play c3, on the other hand, it's not the kind of move that they want to play. It doesn't go well with our setup with long castling, right? So this is actually what Sankalp played in the game, and Erigaisi played bishop e7. There is, by the way, another line in the Scots, which is kind of interesting. You can actually play bishop e4 here also, if you like. It's an interesting variation. And then you park the bishop on c5. This is also well known. White usually plays bishop e3, and then you should not play queen f6 because you end up in the other variation, but with the tempo down. But I think you play something like bishop b6. Anyway, yeah, maybe not everybody's interested in the Scots, so we can we can continue. So bishop e4 was played. There was c3, bishop e7, queen d2, castles, and c4. You will see something similar to this in the game, so please pay attention. After c4, black played here d6 and knight c3. So white is basically building some kind of Maroczy bind here, no? But with a very strange queen on g6. When did you ever see a queen on g6 in the Maroczy bind? Well, not very common feature, I would say. So at this point, Erigaisi played knight e5. And after long casting bishop e6, you would say that white is in some trouble here. They're having difficulties because the pawn is hanging. So I just wanted to wake you up a little and ask you, how do you think white should continue here? And actually, he got it right in the game. He played exactly like that. All right, I'll give you just 30 seconds because you're really fast thinkers. So white's best reaction here, what to do about that c4 pawn? Okay, half a point for Sui, Marcus, and so on, everybody who wanted to play knight e5. But if that was the answer, I think it would not have been a quiz, right? If that was the answer, because it's too obvious. And he didn't play it. The Indian, I think, Grandmaster, he did not play knight e5, even though it looked so natural. Aha, he found something smarter. He was, I guess, choosing between different pawn structure, and he was not very happy about this pawn structure. Okay. Anybody? Nobody got even. Yeah, we have L got the first move. All right, L, you got the first move, so please go ahead. We will have faith in that you can find the second move also. Please go ahead, L. Knight e4. Exactly. What is this about? Well, this is often a very juicy square for white in some lines of the Scotch. Knight e4 he played. Yeah, everybody wants to play knight e5. And to be very honest with you, I haven't looked at this move. We will have to figure out together why didn't he play like that if it's so evident. But black will probably take on d5 in some way, right? Maybe take with the bishop so that we don't lose the tempo. And then I think we will try to open up the game by c6. Isn't white much better here? Yeah, I don't know. Titan chess says c takes d5. I guess I'll play c6. No matter what happens here, I will open up some file. Bishop takes e5, says Sui random. All right, Sui, I'll take back. This I like very much for black. Rook d8 coming next turn if you play d6, for instance. Oh, d6 says chess crusher. All right, rook d8. You wanted to play queen before? I'll have to play... Well, not have to, no. I was thinking about playing bishop f8 here. Is there something smarter? Those of you with very bright tactical vision, can you tell me, is there something smarter than bishop f8? c5 maybe. Those of you who are very good with tactics... No, you can't play. Can you play c5? Sorry, guys, my tactics are not completely convincing. Now white can take and put the bishop on c4. Yeah, I don't like this so much anymore. Any other suggestions here for... There is a check here also, confusing check. If you give this check and they put the king on b1, then the rook is undefended for what it's worth. Yeah. So, yeah, c5 is... Yeah, you cannot take because I take and I take the queen, yeah. a5 I was thinking about also. I like a5 like from a general perspective. But I haven't calculated it. I guess that's the problem. But I like this move from a general point of view. You're like committing them a little more. Yeah, I'm not sure. Knight e8 says Brian. Maybe, Brian, you have the best move here. I like that move, knight e8. That's a very simple solution we'll take on d6 next turn. Black should be at least okay or perhaps even better here. Right? I think so. We're a pawn up and better developed and so on. So, yeah, let's get going. We should look at Johnny Hector's games also. I just thought this was interesting. Back to L, who said right move, knight e4. Very smart move here, and in the game, Erigaisi did not dare to take the pawn on c4. Had he taken on c4, what do you think, L, knight f5, and white has a very nice initiative. And the queen is starting to feel a little uncomfortable. You can almost like start to hunt the queen. Coach blundered the bishop. Why? Which bishop? I don't understand. D takes was a free bishop, really? I was not blundering. I was just taking the words from somebody else. Let's see. That's dangerous, of course. How did we end up like that? Bishop takes, pawn takes, d6, rook d8, queen b4. Yeah, you're right. Of course. Yeah, this is not working because it's hanging. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Okay, so any last word about all this? Bishop f8, boring move, just to finish off the conversation. Or a5. Oh, you like a5, 205, 206? Did you analyze it? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I like the whole thing that if they take with the knight, now we have more. I think Johnny Hector would agree on this also, probably. Yeah, what happens next? I have no idea. Yeah, it's hard to analyze, to understand this position correctly. Bishop f8, c5. I still like bishop f8 here. You like c5. Yeah, maybe c5. And they have a problem with the knight also. John Gial says c5. Okay, I think we will keep it here, right? We will say that white has some issues to solve here. Queen b5, perhaps. c5, d takes c7. You cannot play like that, Sui, right? I take your queen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's go back, all right? I think we are spending a lot of time on this. I just wanted to make my point that this is very powerful for white. White has a good game at this point. In the game, they played something else. Anyway, this was not that important because in this position, if we go back here where Regaisi played knight e5, there was a better move. So if I ask you, you're playing with the black pieces. How could you quickly take the initiative in this position? I think we will do some sessions on this in the future, but if you really need to quickly grab the initiative with black, what would you play here? Yeah, if somebody wishes to remain anonymous, we have to respect that, right? Not everybody wants to tell us who they are and so on. So yeah, let's focus a little more on the board and a little less on the handles, the names of the different students. Okay, congratulations, Sui, Random, HDI, Heuristic Mind, Chess Art. You all got it right. Interesting check there, intermediate check by RKDK and Carlos and Marcus and Charles and so on. Yeah, I don't know if we are benefited by that check, but okay, let's ask Sui Random, what was your approach here? Sui, what did you play? Knight h5, like in the good old King's Indian, and we go for f5. Actually, in the Scots, you find this in a few different variations like that. So I think black is at least equal in this position. If they take, we are probably very happy to take with the bishop and get like full development. Yeah, we don't even, at least if we are Johnny Hector, we don't even care about moves like g4. We're happy. We invite them to play something like that, and we will open up their position completely. Yeah, no, I'm joking, half joking. No, this is, of course, very terrible for black, for white if that happened, g4 and bishop h4. By the way, this check, if you gave it one move earlier, I guess you could do it, but is it really beneficial for you? That's what I was thinking about. Can I play g3? That's my first question. And you'll have to convince me that you can really benefit from this because my king is running to the other side. So yeah, we should continue. Okay, back to the main game here, back to the main game. So that's how you could have played with black. By coincidence, I think this is one of the best setups against this Scots variation. I think it's an interesting line with queen f6 and queen g6. So let's continue in the game. In our game, white played instead, let's see here, after queen g6, they played the move queen e2. I'll try to find my way back to the main game. Queen e2 was played in the game. Black continues with fast development. Knight f6. Again, we know, of course, that knight c3 is always answered by bishop b4. So they played in the game, like this. They played in the game f3, but you can see that already black is slightly ahead in development. White is lagging, and Johnny Hector simply develops quickly. We know the idea already. We would like them to play knight c3. Or bishop d2. This would also be nice for us. We could castle and let them take instead. We can take back, and you can see that we are close to achieving this key move here, d5. So white played in the game c3. The bishop is pushed back, bishop e7, and there is c4, exactly like in the other game that we were looking at. Castles, and white played here knight c3. But this is a worse version of the other line. You'll soon see why. Rook e8 was played in the game. We're bringing our pieces quickly to the battle. And after bishop e3, I would like to know what you think is black's best move here. I will only ask you for one move, but it's definitely time to cook up some activity before white castles away. You get only 20 seconds. There is no absolute answer. Half a point for 206. You're on the right track. Sui, RKDK, Happy Pawn, Heuristic, Carlos, you got it right. It's time for that bishop to move again. It's moving all the time, no? It seems to be some kind of typical idea in this variation. Torrid Chess, you got it also. Xalicia, Yongjial, Razor Bill, Alg, great work. So please go ahead, Connor, you can tell us. What would you play here with the black pieces, Connor? We are fighting against the Maroczy bind. You will see that this Maroczy will not last for a very long time. It's not like those, Karpov heavyweight positional battles back in the 1980s. This is something else. Bishop b4, it's already very annoying for white that they cannot really keep their pawn structure together. maybe when you have this kind of complex position, yeah, thanks, Connor. When you have this kind of complex situation, the best you can do is to give up something, right? Maybe white should have just castled here and let black damage their pawn structure, but it's not pretty, of course. It's not what the Maroczy player likes to see on the board. So in the game, white played instead rook c1. Yeah, had you played d5, I mean, you're definitely in the right track, but you would still have to show me what's the continuation here. Not completely clear to me if I can castle next turn, for instance. So it's probably too much. So bishop e4 was played in the game, but after white's next move, rook c1, maybe now you can play d5. Maybe yes, maybe no. I won't give any hints, but I will give you one hint anyway, that black's following play is slightly surprising, okay? It's slightly surprising. So let's see who can find the very surprising solution here. Well, depends on your standards, of course, but at least for me, it was a bit surprising. So you get 1 minute this time. Please don't send me d5 in 5 seconds. Don't send me d5 in 5 seconds. Sarthak, you're not listening. He did not play d5. Wow, that's an interesting sacrifice. Happy pawn, congratulations. You found this very, very quickly. Aha, in the footsteps of Johnny Hector. Great work. A lot of people wanted to sacrifice. Yeah, you sacrifice all over the place here, which is, of course, in the nature of this position because white's king is still in the center. But we have to find the most convincing way of doing it. Okay, bishop takes e3. I would probably wait with taking until they push away the bishop, right? You should have a really good reason to take on c3 right now. Aha. So what else? Al, you also got it. Brian, congratulations. You have found this. Knight g4. Wow, you found so many ways of sacrificing here. Fianchetto, that's a very inventive move. Knight g4. You get special prize for your creativity. Yeah, Johnny would perhaps have agreed also. Nice move by Tiger Saki. We sack there and we sack here. Interesting. Okay, Chess Crusher. You also got it, Chess Crusher. Go ahead, please. Chess Crusher, what was your solution here? Let's see how to continue here. Very, very unexpected move, except if you're a hedgehog player, which I think actually Johnny Hector is not playing very often. But in the hedgehog, you must have seen cases where you go b5 and then you go d5, but it's still like a slightly different situation, right? The point of b5 here, of course, is that you want to undermine the d5 square. If you play d5 straight away, I guess white can take back on d5, and you cannot really make this work, I'm afraid. If knight takes, I can take with the pawn, and you don't have a good way of exploiting this pressure on the e-file, right? Yeah, this was a scotch. You arrived late, Titan Chess. Aha. b5 was my immediate thought, and I just ignored it. Again, I have to stop doing this. Yeah, I mean, Torre Chess, intuition is a gift from above. It's fantastic to have a great intuition, but you have to like support it by calculation also. So don't refute any of your ideas. So don't reject any ideas. Try to look into them. But okay, 1 minute is not too much time. So b5 was what I played in the game. And after c takes b5, sorry, Chess Crusher, I interrupted you. What was your next move here? Knight e5. Now we put the knight on e5, and we are basically ready to go d5 next turn. No matter what white does here, we're about to play d5. I don't think there is any better option. I think the computer's choice was also this. We can go over all your sacrifices here if you like. b5 and d5, that was what Tiger Saki was saying. Yeah, I guess I take on c6. Wow, this is an interesting defensive challenge for white. If pawn takes e4, I don't know, can I close the doors with f4 perhaps? Yeah, I don't know. Looks dangerous. Bishop d4. Somebody's moving here. Who is moving? Chess Crusher. All right, Chess Crusher. You're moving the black pieces here. Interesting. I have to move my queen somewhere. Should I just keep it safe like that? I have a little dream here of castling short. If I'm very fortunate, I can make that happen. Knight e5. All right, we're playing a blitz game now, Chess Crusher. Let's see who is smartest here. I'll develop my bishop also. Can I do that just like that? Or is there something happening? Just queen c4 instead. I didn't see that move, El. I'm sorry. I was playing in a very relaxed style, but I feel I have a good feeling about this. I don't know what Chess Crusher is doing here. We should probably stop this blitz game, Chess Crusher, because it's not clear what black is achieving here. Okay? We will continue with the game. Yeah. Thanks anyway, Chess Crusher. Great to see your moves there. And the first part was the best. Yeah. Following Johnny Hector's game. So d5, very interesting, but perhaps not fully correct. You were saying a bunch of other things here. Knight takes e4, yeah, fantastic, brilliancy. But I'm not sure it really works. I'll take, and if you take, yeah, what will I play here? This would not be unexpected. No, can I do something like that? Maybe king f2 and hide my king on g1, perhaps? Queen f3 says King Sam. Yeah, maybe queen f3 also. Aha, to try to bring out the bishop. Yeah, I'm not, well, you're giving away tempo with 95. But anyway, yeah, you can play a chess tournament in the class, says Sarthak. And did you know, Sarthak, you can open up your own chessable classroom. And then you can invite everyone here to play a tournament in your classroom, right? So that could be a great idea for the future. Anyway, we will continue with Joni Hector's game. b5 was played, and after pawn takes, there is knight e5. It's already very difficult to play this with white. The computer is actually saying that black is winning here. It's like -2, according to the computer. White played a3, and I don't have to ask you twice for the continuation here. Let's pick a random student here. I will pick, let's say, random student. King Sam. All right, Sam, please go ahead. How would you continue here with the black pieces? Time is money. We only take on c3 when they ask us to, right? Of course, that's exactly how this works. You could play in other ways also, but this is the most efficient one. Now the e file is open. The rest is not difficult. But there is one moment that I would like to show you here, that I would like to focus on. White played f4. You have at least 3 different moves, which gives a big advantage here. But he played in the nicest way. So that's one of the moves which leads to big advantage. I would play e5. And only if you're a computer, you could see something like this. Anyone, would you like to tell me black's next move here? You can just tell me in the chat. Black's next move? Oh, bravo, Sui Random, f6. I was saying only computer could find this, but also Sui Random could find it. Yeah, I think this is very surprising, but yeah, I guess it has its logic. No, we're focusing on the white king. So that's another refined way of getting a big advantage. You can also go to the other side with the knight c4. Then you don't have to think about this anymore. And after e5, you can play knight c4. I think that Hector also looked at such possibilities. By the way, you have this check. I don't know if somebody thought about it, but you have this in the pocket. No, we won't do it right now when the rook can go back, but we could do it later maybe. Aha. So yeah. What did he play in the game? Anyone? If the best move is not knight c4 or knight c4, could you tell me? The knights are controlling everything, exactly. Aha, you're right, Santos. Okay, Santos, we will give you the move. Please go ahead, Santos, tell us how to continue here with the black piece. Knight takes e4, black is breaking through, white took on e5, and here comes a move very soon, which I know that Greg Shahadi knows about. So we will invite Greg to this. Yeah, please continue. Meanwhile, who was moving the pieces here? Santos. Yeah, just cash in. That's a key defender, so we're happy to get him off the board. Oh, interesting. Bishop g4. They did not play like that in the game. Maybe they didn't like queen c2 and somebody else of trading queens. Yeah, we have some new students here, Greg. Yeah, hi, nice to see you. I just let everybody in. I hope I did the right thing here. Else, let me know. He took in the game on c3 instead. And he played rook takes e5. So the pin, it's very annoying. You can see that the other rook is joining very soon. White has to think about this check also. White played in the game queen d2. And here comes the move that I would like to quiz you on. And I know it's a move that Greg Shahadi is also very well acquainted with because we had this last time. So you get only 40 seconds. Or not last time, but some time ago. Okay, King Sam, congratulations. That's exactly what happened in the game. We had this some time ago. We were looking at some games, and I remember that Greg told us about the game by Yermolinsky. No, I think Yermolinsky had played a game like that. Hollow Blade, you got it. Charles, RKDK. A lot of people wanted to play queen b1 check. I guess if you do that, I go knight c1. And what were you planning to do next? Yeah, you'll have to explain that because I don't understand it fully. Why would you put the queen there? I can get bishop d3 with tempo. Yeah, if you give this check, careful with, what would you say, Czechophilia, checking just for the sake of checking. I can play knight c1 and maybe I have bishop d3 with tempo and my secret dream of castling. So, yeah, unless you can convince me there. Oh, bishop f5, says Santos. Yeah, bishop f5. I was hoping to play something like bishop d3, but I guess I can't. You have calculated everything here. Okay, you have a checkophobia. Oh, you don't like to give checks. Okay, I'll play king f2. I have this pinophobia here. I want to unpin and put my bishop on d4 and go for a counterattack. Well, I don't know. Probably black is fine here also, but what he played in the game was way more convincing. So please go ahead. Happy Pawn, you can tell us what was the best move at this point. What did black play here? They want to bring a rook very quickly to e8. So we would have to move that bishop, right? Happy Pawn. It's white's turn. Oh, very sorry. My mistake. Queen d2. Yeah, now it's all yours. Happy Pawn. Bishop h3. So that's a very pretty picture now. Very pretty move. Bishop h3. And we have seen it a number of times. Those of you who were around last year, you remember this at some session. I forget exactly which. But basically we are preparing rook e8, but we do it with some extra pressure on white's position. So that's what happened in the game. What's the idea of bishop h3? Yeah, simply to hit this pawn also in some variations. Like if you play bishop d3, I guess we could go queen takes g2, and I think you cannot take back because there are some pieces hanging on the third rank, it seems. So bishop h3, that's what happened in the game. If pawn takes, obviously rook e8, that's right. Yeah, you can see some motive also with taking on h1 after white plays king f2 or something like that. Yeah, you see what I mean, right? If there is nothing better, if we can absolutely not calculate anything else, we would do something like that. So king f2 was played in the game. Please go ahead, Happy Pawn. I'm convinced you can see the next move here also. It's not very difficult. Aha. Oh, the king can go to g1, but I think then maybe something. Yeah, maybe you're right. Black has a good attack. Okay. Bishop f4 was played in the game. Okay, guys, I will quiz you for the next move because it's pretty. But you get only 10 seconds, so you better think quickly here. Okay, you're fast thinkers. Everybody got this right. I don't have the time to name all of you. Santos, Happy Pawn, Young Giles, Crusher, Greg Shahadi, Tiger Shahi, Marcus, Tori Chess, and so on. All right, Marcus, you can tell us what should the black play at this point. Very, very simple. Aha. Something with the how would you say, the overloaded piece, no? Rook e2. That's a clever move. That's exactly what Jon Hector played. We cannot take like that due to queen takes, I suppose. So in the game, they had to take with the queen instead. And the rest was easy. Please go ahead, Marcus. You can help us playing out the final moves here. Please go ahead. Aha. Time to finish off this game. Rook takes, king takes. Yeah, we keep on taking pieces here. Aha, we take that also, rook g1. And after, yeah, you pick up everything here, right? There are probably multiple choices. Yeah, he played queen e4 because he had seen that there is also this knight, which was not very present in this game, but now suddenly it becomes a factor here. Bishop e3. And Marcus, yeah, you could just clean up here if you like. This game, not so difficult. Aha, we can start taking and then we can give the check. Queen f3, all right, that should also win for sure. No problem. In the game, he went for the more prosaic takes and queen c4, and he took a b3, and black won, white resigned. So yeah, I hope you like this game. I thought it was interesting. For me, the main what can I say, thrill of this game was this moment. I will just quiz you very quickly to see if you and me are on the same page here, if you can play like the famous Swedish grandmaster Johnny Hector did in this game. This is like the key part of the game. So you get only 20 seconds, okay? 20 seconds to tell me what should we play next here. All right. Yeah, nice. A lot of winners here. HDI, Chess Crusher, Xalicia, Skilled Saber, Sui Random, Chess Art. Some people played d5 on move 2. We talked about that, but we thought it was not completely convincing. Fianchetto, you got it also. Please go ahead, Fianchetto, tell us, how did you continue here? Quite unexpected, but if you're familiar with the hedgehog, you have seen this picture before. We undermine the d5 square. We don't want to give up a knight. We will sacrifice later, but first we bring the knight to the center. Now d5 is definitely coming. White played a3. This was slow play by white, but okay, I don't think there was something better. And this is, as you can see, completely impossible to say white in this game. The king simply stayed in the center for too long. So, all right, was there some question? Why do you go knight e5 before bishop takes e3? You don't go bishop takes e3 until they play a3, if you want to speak about the move order here. No reason to take like that. unprovoked. No, we have that all the time in the pockets. By the way, before we continue with the next game, I wanted to just show you this position. I would like to have your opinion on this game. It was played recently in the World Senior Championship. Strong Grandmaster Vtachnik with the white pieces. I was just curious about what you think about this position. Could you tell me white's best move and the plan, perhaps? Let's see if we can get this right. I'll give you 1 minute to send me white's best continuation here. All right. You will say this is completely off topic, but I will say it's not. Okay, RKDK, smartest thinker here. Santos, second place, Kind King Sam. Some of you instantly understood what this was about. Greg Sahadi also, of course. HDI, Kind King Sam, Zahpan, Daniel Best, Sarthak. Okay, good work, Sarthak. Some people wanted to play bishop d3. Yeah, if you go bishop d3, I go g6, right? Okay, a lot of people got it right. And many of you were on the right track also. Oh, some of you want to take on e6, like Alk, 206 random and Adi Chess. Maybe you can play like that, but don't you think it's safer to just cash in on the extra rook, or no? Okay, great work. We will ask Daniel about this. Please go ahead, Daniel. Tell us, what should white play here? What did the Slovakian Grandmaster play? Yeah, that's why I brought this up, because we talked about it. No, it's the same thing that Johnny Hector did. But here it's different, of course. Here we play it because we want to deny them of the move g6. Very clever, no? Very clever, this move. If they take on h6, Daniel, what happens next? Aha, bishop d3, because now we have a little problem here with black. We have to play f5 to avoid getting mated. And please notice, we don't have to focus only on this part of the board. You should look at the whole board. Exactly, queen takes a8. So that's actually the best move, bishop h6. If you start like this, I can go g6, and white is still better. But okay, it will take more time. This is a good plan, probably h4, h5, and you can also insert bishop h6. But yeah, what he played in the game is simply more efficient. You can also see that there is a problem with the exchange now. Black is probably losing the exchange here if they don't. If they play something else, I mean, they're probably losing the exchange. You could play something like, yeah, what could black play here, by the way? Sorry, I'm running out of moves. I don't even know what to play with black. Yeah, I can't see any other moves. If you play something like a6, I guess you could just play queen g4 anyway, right? So, yeah. Okay, I hope we're on the same page here. Bishop h6, clever move. Now we have safely this move on the map. Let's take our next game. Bishop h5. Bishop h6, f5. Oh, really? Can you play that? I highly doubt it, but okay, we can look at it. f5. If you play that, I guess you take back with the rook then, I guess. No, I think that's the game, actually, Kind King Sam. That's what they played in the game. Bishop d5 he played in the game. Rook g6 and white played h4. Yeah, this was horrible for black. Only good thing about this position is the pawn, but that's not enough now. White has a lot of attack and so on. So yeah, he went on to win this. As I told you before, these older masters like Vtachnik, it's interesting to see them playing games now as well, because they still keep some of their old spirit, you could say, their old attacking ideas and things like that. It comes back in these games. So the veterans, or whatever you would call them, they are still very strong players. So back to Johnny Hector, we will have a look at another game that he had played. It's a Ruy Lopez. I'll show you which is Hector's favorite variation, perhaps, in the Ruy Lopez. Let's see here if we can find this game. Yes, Stefansson, experienced Grandmaster from Iceland, with white pieces, and Johnny Hector's playing black. I think Johnny Hector said that this was one of his best games ever, so I think it's worth to have a look at it. So he plays a variety of Ruy Lopez variations. I told you once against me, he played bishop b4 here. We looked at this last time, funny move, but not altogether bad. He also played it against Vishy Anand many years ago. So that's an interesting variation if you want to surprise your opponent in the next tournament this weekend or something like that. Anyway, this game, he played a more solid, the main line, a6. Yeah, if you excuse me for not calling the Berlin the main line. For me, that's not the main line, but that's what they play quite a lot nowadays. But of course, in his games, this would not be very logical because he likes attacking chess, so he's more into keeping more pieces on the board and so on. So, all right, let's continue. Bishop e7. He can also play the Archangels with b5 and bishop c5 and bishop e7 and all that. But his favorite variation seems to be this one. Rook e1, and now after b5, bishop e3. Here comes the surprise. When most of you would castle and play the Marshall, or you would play d6 and just play the closed Ruy Lopez, maybe the Breyer or the Chigorin or something like that, Johnny Hector very often plays here the move bishop b7. So this is a strange line. You can look it up later today if you like, and you can make yourself an opinion about this variation. But I would say it's very tricky. It can sometimes move into some kind of martial attack, but it can also become a closed Ruy Lopez. I'm not an expert on the Ruy Lopez, but yeah, seeing this game, it also makes me interested in this variation. One of the ideas here is that if they play c3, you can strike with d5. So this is like the hero of the whole system. You will use this bishop in many variations. Pawn takes, knight takes. Just like in the Marshall, you give away this pawn. Knight takes, rook takes, knight f4. There is a long variation like that. You can look it up later. It's not altogether clear. But I should, by the way, quiz you on this. I should quiz you just for the next move with the white pieces. Hold on, guys. Let me just flip the board. Just to see if you know your Ruy Lopez, what should white play here? What is the key principle in such positions? Oh, really? You want to take that? You will fall into Johnny Hector's traps if you play like that. You will see Hollow Blade and Titan and Connor what's expecting you if you play like that. Don't do that. Okay, HDI, Alg, Santos, Brian, so random, you're on the right track. I think this happens in one of the Marshall lines. No, it's more important to seize the center than to keep the G-pawn. Aha, that's right, Alg, you got it right also. Okay, Torre Chess, what was your move here? What did you like to play? I don't play these lines. No problem, King Sam. I don't play them either, but they are entertaining, right? This is the right move. That's how the variation continues. You should play d4 here after knight takes d2, queen e2. This is how the variation goes. It's a long story. I think there is no concrete evaluation yet. Maybe a little fishy for black, but still playable. If you played bishop takes f7, Johnny Hector tells us that black will take. There you go with the brave king again. Rook f5, bishop f6, rook takes f4, and the next move, even if you're not Ruy Lopez players, you should be familiar with this topic. It's, sorry about the color, yeah, it has been played ever since Morphy's days, right, I think? Yeah, everybody knew about this move. There is a famous Morphy game, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 1850 or something like that, where he played in this way. All right, congratulations everyone. RKDK, you can tell us what should black play here. It's a nice move to play. I agree, Al. It gives you some kind of, yeah, pleasant feeling to put the queen like that and you block these pieces altogether. Yeah, very nice. One of the first things you have to learn if you're playing the Ruy Lopez with either color. Don't allow that move, queen d3. Dominance is the feeling, says L. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, back to our main game. This variation is very entertaining. You could use it as a surprise weapon, perhaps. Bishop e7. If c3, just remember that no slow stuff here with d6 or knight a5. You just go all in with the move d5. All right. Let's see what else can white play here. d3, I think, is what some people play against, have played against Johnny, because in this way they move away from these complications and so on. d3 and c3, and you get like a normal Ruy Lopez instead. But all right, white didn't play d4 so quickly, so I guess there is a benefit for black also. Let's see what happened in the game. White played in the game d4, principled approach, trying to get e5 in as soon as possible because black is lagging slightly in development, or however you would like to call it. Let's see what happened here. Black can take in two ways on d4. Question, take with knight or pawn on e4? Can anyone tell? Instead of talking about who has a title in this classroom and so on, take with pawn or knight? Anyone would like to give an explanation? Well, it's easy if you look at it the other way. If you take with a pawn, there is a problem, right? What would white play in this case? Aha, pawn e5, and black is in big trouble. So for that reason, we should take here with a knight, because in this way, when they take on d4, if they take on d4, I mean, and they play e5, what happened to our knight? 95, some people say 94, some people. All right, you're on the right track. It's better to go 94. We will come back to that. I just wanted to say also, if any of you were interested in playing this move, which is typical also in these positions, Johnny Hector had a little surprise for you. What do you think is Black's best move? I cannot quiz you because there are only two legal moves. Exactly. The non-capture. No, the non-recapture. The non-recapture. Please remember this topic, guys. This is good to know. Nobody said you have to take a piece if they ask you to. This would help white, right? They would be a pawn up and the king is slightly exposed. But king f8 is a clever move because now you're hitting the pawn on e4. And what happens next here? Knight takes e5. It's not fortunate anymore, I think. d6. It's okay for white also. Yeah, you can play like that if you like. I think all this has been played also. Queen takes and rook takes. Nothing to write home about, really. Black is very solid. They will get the pawn on e4 next turn. So, yeah, tricky variation. No, tricky variation. Knight takes d4, and it will get... All right, Greg. Yeah, no hard feelings. I say I missed queen g3. Queen g3, by the way. Oh, it's later. We will come to that. I understand what you mean. We will come to that later. I think I understand what you mean. So there are two squares for the knights here and there. The problem with going knight d5 is that white could play here queen g4, right? This is unpleasant for black. If they castle, you would have to give up the exchange after bishop h6. There we are again, by the way, the bishop h6 move. However, if you go to e4 instead, there is a difference. Anyone, can you tell me the difference? Why is it better to put the knight on e4 then? Aha, we have bishop g5, says Greg Shahadi. Exactly. Queen g4, you can now play bishop g5. One funny variation that I was looking at was if, by the way, which is the first move that you would look at here with white? Just to look at, look at. Exactly, me too, rook takes e4. I was looking at this. Yeah, what will black play? What is tastier here, the rook or the bishop? Of course, we take the bishop. That's a nice variation. Queen takes c7, and you can just play rook f8, and probably black is winning. Queen e7, and we can castle long, and some tactical inconveniences for white on this side. And also, there is a rook hanging on e4, you're right. I just wanted to stop the mate first. So, what should white play here? Not easy for white to make a good move here. So, this is unclear. I don't think so, Jon Jel. I think it's completely winning for black. e6, says Brian. All right, it's in the spirit of the position, but will it really work? Well, I don't know. I have to take it, I guess. I'll take it. Yeah, I take this pawn, and then I'll try to cancel as soon as I can. I don't see this clearly. Now, if you take on e6, I'm not getting mated. I'm taking on e4, and I think I have a big material advantage. So anyway, that's the point here of this variation. You can play knight e4, and if white goes queen g4, you can then play the move bishop g5. And okay, white can of course play f4, but then you can put the bishop on h6, and this knight looks quite strong, backed up by the bishop. Black should be okay here, in this position. So, all right, we will continue. e5, black played knight e4. White did not play queen g4. They played in the game queen f3. At first sight, this looks like a really good move, no? Because if black moves the knight, my only square for the knight would be this one, right? But I think there are some dangers here. Anyone, what would you play with the white pieces? Interesting. I haven't looked at this, but maybe you could play something like d takes, no? Or no? I'm not sure. Or maybe take with the rook. I was just thinking if I take like that, they cannot sack back, right? If you take with the rook, they can sack. No, they could play something like this, and they have they have many pawns here. You could put the bishop somewhere. I don't know, here maybe. And I still think I have my 8 pawns here. So it's probably smarter to take with the pawn instead, right? If you see what I mean. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, maybe there is something better. Knight g5, they say, instead of knight g5. How can you play knight g5? Knight g5, oh, with black you mean? No, that you cannot play. That I can see. I'm taking your bishop then, Chessart. So yeah, don't do that, please. So I don't know. This is probably unplayable. I can imagine there is some other move. Maybe queen g4 is still good, but looks nice to take on d6, right? Anyway, we will continue. We have no reason to play like that. Razor Bill is saying that we can simply castle. That's exactly what Joni played in the game. Aha, so what's going on here? Why on earth is black giving up 2 pieces for a rook? Why wasn't this the pride of black's position? What's going on? We will see. Rook takes e4 was played in the game, and I will kindly ask you for black's next move here. Yeah, f5, don't play that. You can't play it, actually. Chessable Classroom, great place. It will not allow you to play illegal moves. Okay, Santos, Heuristic Mind, 206, Hui Random, Hollow Blade, Charles, Tori Chess, Sarthak, and everyone else. You're completely right. There is no rush in getting back that exchange. It changes, right? Yeah, there is no rush. We are going for activity. And one thing that you should notice here in this game is that white's queenside is badly developed. So we have some kind of long-term or mid-term compensation in the fact that white's queenside pieces are not developed. Similar to the previous game where white had difficulties with the kingside pieces, right? So you're right, Marcus. Please tell us, Marcus, what did black play at this point? Aha, c5 was played at this point. We should, of course, not take. Don't capture pinned pieces, somebody said. No, this you could do this much later. No, that's what white wants, of course, bring out their pieces, and maybe the bishop can shift to the other diagonal. No, thanks. We're going for active counterplay. c5 was played in the game. You're right about that, Marcus. We can see that now. c4 is a concrete threat. If I go c3, yeah, what would you play in that case, Marcus? Which move do you like for black? Yeah, you can probably play several moves now, but one thing that looks interesting is to to push these pawns and build up a pawn chain like that. Aha. So in the game after c5, that explains why in the game white played c4 instead. All right, I will quiz you again. Let's see if you can find black's best move here. But the second move is important. No, the first move is simple, but the second move is kind of important. The pawn chain is crazy, says Tori Chess. Yeah, welcome to Joni Hector's world. Let's see here. Okay, we have a winner, Razorbill. You found this in only, like 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Congratulations. Yeah, d5 is in the right spirit, Sui, HDI, and King Sam. That's in the right spirit. I looked at that also, but I think I can, yeah, we will come to that then. Okay, Tori Chess, congratulations. You have also found this. Aha. Something about dynamics. No, please remember what I told you. White's queenside pieces are not fully developed. So if you can open up the game, it would be great for black. For instance, if you can clear the e file, that will be big news, good news for black. Okay, happy pawn also, you got it, congratulations. Please go ahead, Razorbill, you can tell us what should black play at. Aha, we will talk about the second move, Greg, no problem. So Razorbill, you can tell us f5. Now it's not illegal anymore, now we can play it. That's the cost of the move. c4, by the way. I don't know, should I explain this further? If white had played queen e2, you could just take and you win the exchange. No, that's how I understand it. Now, by the way, if somebody was asking, there are a lot of surprising moves in this game, so maybe it's good to make some acclarations now. So okay, c4, f5, and white, they badly need to take on f6, and this was the question, how to take back. Exactly, we should take with the bishop. It looks perhaps more natural to take with the rook, but there is a point with taking with the bishop. If you take like that, I can take like this. Yeah, I'm checking you now. You don't want to play d5 really. In that case, I can simply move my queen. Yeah, a lot of tactical, what can I say, messy in this game. Now the bishop is hanging. That's one of the reasons why we don't want to take with the rook on f6. And the other reason, open e file is so good for black, says Tori Chess. Bishop takes f6, opens e file, says Razorbill. That's right, bishop takes f6. That was played in the game, and now you can see there is a big difference here, because if I'm not careful here, if I try to play like in the previous variation, if I take on b5 and I play queen e2, anyone, what would happen here? I can quiz you on this, but I can only give you 5 seconds for this mission because it's so simple, all right? So 5 seconds, here we go, guys. That's right. A lot of people got this right. You know your back rank, I can see here. Please go ahead, Titan Chess. You're one of the winners. What did black play at this point? Aha. Now we take. Only at this point, our glorious bishop leaves the board because we have a mate coming up on the first rank. White is paying the price for their lagging development. So yeah, exactly. That's the logic of taking with the bishop on f6. So in the game, Stefansson did not play that. He played in the game knight d2 instead. And believe it or not, all of this was actually theory. All of this had been played before. But here, Joni Hector uncorks an important theoretical novelty. In the past, they had played bishop h4. But this is a little too early, says Grandmaster Peter Wells, who was commenting on this game in Chessable. Sorry, on ChessBase, Megabase. Queen g4, bishop takes f2. That's how the other game went. King h1, bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, d5, bishop h6. Wow, it's incredible how this move comes up in all the variations. Well, not so incredible. It's a natural move. We win time for development and we can take back. There was a game like that. White had a lot of compensation. Believe me, they will never get to this kind of situation in the game. This will be like heaven for them. This will be paradise for White, this kind of position. This will never happen in the game because Hector played something completely different here. So anyone, just for fun, could you tell me a few candidate moves for Black here? d5. If you play d5 now, I think it's not fully working. No, I can take. I'm always ready to give up the exchange also. c4. Yeah, I don't know. I would just take like that. I don't count the material or anything. I need to get rid